I probably shouldn't be doing this while having a migraine.
Part of my deconstruction was realizing that Satan never lies in the Bible, but God does all the time.
Okay, that's not deconstructing from Christianity. It's deconstructing from a version of it that no one actually holds to. Because the Bible never presents God and Satan as two competing truth tellers. Instead, Scripture presents God as the ultimate source of truth and Satan as a deceiver whose strategy is to distort, provide half-truth, and give misdirection. So if your conclusion is that Satan is the honest one and God's the liar, that tells us immediately that something is foundationally wrong with his understanding of Scripture and how it actually works.
Now, before you freak out, let me show you some receipts.
Yeah, and I'm sure the problem here is going to be like bringing a Walmart receipt to Target, trying to make a return. The problem's not with the receipt, it's how it's being read.
Let's start with Eden. Satan tells Eve that you will not surely die the day you eat of this fruit. God says you will die on that day. Now, guess what happens? Adam and Eve lived for hundreds of years. Satan told the truth in that story. God certainly did not.
No, this is just a theological misreading of the text. Adam and Eve do die that day, just not in the shallow, one-dimensional way that his argument assumes. In fact, the moment they disobeyed God, they experienced spiritual death, separation from him, exile from his presence, and ultimately the beginning process of their bodies physically dying.
Then Satan says your eyes will be opened and you'll know good from evil. And God literally confirms it afterwards. Again, Satan was right, not God.
So, putting aside the fact that he's got his Genesis events out of order, knowing good and evil does not mean you're gaining moral enlightenment. It actually means moral autonomy. They don't gain wisdom here. They actually gain guilt, shame, and fractured relationships. Their eyes have been opened to their nakedness, which then brings about fear, and then they go hide. So Satan is actually framing rebellion here as growth, but God describes it as loss.
So when Christians say that Satan is deceiving the world, I always ask them, show me where he lies, because in the Bible, he never does.
Every example he uses here to try to prove that Satan tells the truth is literally the direct opposite. He's flattening theology, he's ignoring narrative intent, and he's reducing truth to technical literalism. And that's not how Scripture communicates, and it's not how deception works. So listen, anytime somebody starts off with something like, well, Satan never lies in the Bible, only God does, what they're actually doing there is they're confusing surface-level literalism with truth. I mean, Scripture never depicts Satan as a truth teller, not even close. He's actually depicted as a direct opposite, a deceiver, and his weapon is partial truth that's been stripped away of context and meaning. Listen, when the Bible is reduced to nothing more than sound bites instead of being read as a unified story, it can be easy to make deception look like honesty and faithfulness to be mistaken as contradiction. What this is revealing here is not that he deconstructed from biblical Christianity, but from a wrong version of Christianity. I mean, when the gospel, the character of God, and the role of Satan are consistently inverted, the issue here is not Christianity at all. It's that Scripture was never being read on its own terms to begin with. I probably